Here we go. Now let's try the Scandinavian. Vakis, Vakisi. I don't know what that is. Vaklis Ij. Okay, and just gives the pawn back. That's all fine. The queen can come out because there's no knight here to chase it, so it's not even a loss of tempo. I guess the question is, where do I put the bishop? I think I'll do the bishop here. So I can play e6 without blocking it in. The other way to play this would be with g6 and the other bishop here, I think. Now look at, we're very evenly rated. Oh, wow, he wants a queen trade? Well, if I play e6 and he takes my queen and I take back, we'll be in a symmetrical position, but I'll have a piece developed. And so I will have gained a tempo. And if I run with the queen, he can grab this pawn here. So if I take his queen, it develops his knight. Now I don't think one tempo in this position is going to make much of a difference, but still, it's a tempo. It's like I'm playing white instead of black. So he defended the pawn. I guess he was looking for me to take this pawn so he could take this one, huh? Okay, I could check. Well, let's bring the knight out anyway. Castle's queenside. So I was thinking knight here, bishop here is going after the that c pawn. Now I can retreat the queen without any loss of time or material. I could develop my dark squared bishop, but I like bringing this knight out to e3. But what does he do after knight out to b4? But what do I do after c3? Do I really go in with the knight here? It's kind of stuck there after a while, isn't it? Okay, so let's just do normal development. Now he trades. Okay. Okay, I'm going to castle. If he wants to give up the bishop pair and gain a pawn here, he can. Now I can play c, b4, he plays c3, I come here with a check, he takes, and let's kick this bishop. Let's force a decision here. So this is interesting. Let's break the pin. It's just helping me advance my pawns towards the king side. I do have to watch this pawn, don't I? Knight here to here is coming. Do I want to kick this knight back first? Okay, I can kick the knight. This bishop is loose and his rook is here. The knight can't go here, 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 or here, so the knight will go back here or here or here. Let's find out where it goes. And then just have to be careful. There's maybe discoveries with this bishop, but I don't see any right away, and I can just move my bishop. I wanted to kick this knight first before I put my knight here, so he has to take with the bishop if he wants to get rid of it. And I can threaten this bishop by advancing these pawns further, so that's nice. Well, he stopped to think. I guess that's a good sign. But what is there to think about? Oh, he wants to think about where to put his knight. Oh, he wants to take my bishop. He can't move his knight with check. There's no tempo moves with the knight. I can escape with my bishop by taking his bishop. So he has to take back here. And then I get the knight. I got a pawn. He gets a pawn. So it all comes out even. But I get my knight to this good square. That's what I wanted. And I'm hitting this bishop and this pawn. I did give him the bishop pair. Something to think about. He goes there. I see. So I take the pawn, he takes my pawn. I have an idea, though. Now that I got rid of his d-pawn, with that exchange, I can push my c-pawn forward, defended by my bishop. And I can follow up with this move. Then I can take this pawn if he doesn't defend it, or I can push these pawns some more. Or if he takes here, still want to push these pawns. Although these do look kind of threatening, don't they? Let's see, what if I go here? Oh, he's going to put his bishop here. Okay, let's just push here. The bishop runs. So I could put my rook here. He takes, I take, he takes. I could trade rooks, but, or he could trade rooks. I'd just lose a pawn, huh? Yeah, let's just put this here anyway. So if he pushes a pawn here, I will take it. It goes there to threaten my rook. I guess threaten my knight. I'll go here to threaten this pawn, see how he defends it. That way. Okay, well then I can... Oh, I can't take here. Okay, check. Yeah, I really wanted to take that pawn. I really thought I could. Terrible. Okay, there's another check here. There's rook here. Okay, well, we can put the bishop here. He's pretty good at these intermediate moves. I will give him credit. got rid of my dark squared bishop. Oh, he sacrifices the exchange. I thought he would just push this pawn. And then he pushes a pawn. But why did he give up the exchange? What was the point? Okay, that's so he can't take this pawn. Okay, so I can take his rook. I think I should. Gonna bring my rook in here. Bring my king over here. White resigned. Yeah. Oh, he moved his king up and left the bishop behind. That was an interesting game. Here, let's go to the analysis board and see how it was going. I think I'll do the whole computer analysis. Well, it's running. 11.9 at the end. Yeah, so that was a big blunder. If you go back to the beginning, really a lot of ups and downs. If you look at the graph here, yeah. Oh my, I missed some real chances at the beginning, huh? Oops, what did that do? Let's try this again. I missed a chance at the beginning. Advantage 8. Wow, there's so many mistakes here. I can't even make sense of this. But it doesn't like knight c3, huh? I've seen that a lot. That's a fairly common response. I guess it's just about even. Bishop f3 was a... Oh, queen f3 was a blunder. Bishop f5 was fine. So this was a blunder. Knight f3 was best. Bishop e4 was best. Interesting. So why can't he go here? -3. Boy, this is really strong for me already. Okay, so let's turn that off. So even though e6 wasn't best, it's still an advantage to... Oh no, it's back to even. And then he played bishop e3. And once again, I can play that bishop e4 move. But I didn't, so it's even. And then he castled. And now the move I have here is queen takes. Yeah, that's always very disruptive of a queenside castle if you can take that pawn. That was a shame that I missed that. I mean, I did win in the end and we got an interesting game. But, okay, the next big blunder. Also, yeah, so he just kept making mistakes and eventually I managed to capitalize on one of them. So I ran away from the knight here, and it says I should take. Why should I take that knight? He takes back. And I push this pawn. He can take that pawn. And I can push this pawn. He can go back. Can trade rooks. Oh, I see. The idea is that I get a double pawn push. Okay, well that was actually a little deeper than the usual combination. So the idea is I trade knights to eliminate this pawn, which this happened later. I traded knights and eliminated this pawn, and then the c pawn comes forward, and then I can trap this bishop. Interesting. If I do this pawn push right away, it doesn't work because he can take here. So that's why it's not so obvious. You have to push this one first, and then wherever he goes, then you can follow up. What you really want is what I did, take, and then you can follow up with tempo. and squash it. But okay, so how about if he doesn't take and just retreats? You still follow up. And this bishop has limited squares. He's not going to lose a piece here, though. So it's just about, I guess, domination of the position with these advanced pawns pushing those bishops. Yeah, this bishop looks like a pretty sad piece after that. So that would have been a mistake for him to. Well, this was a mistake for him, and I didn't exploit it. And let's see, in a few more moves, there's a similar mistake here. I should retreat my bishop. Well, if I retreat my bishop and he just retreats his knight, then I can take this pawn. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see, did you see that on the screen? Yeah, if I just retreated, then the knight has to retreat, and then this pawn is no longer defended. That's a cute kind of tactic. I often miss that kind of thing, but I've seen it before. I should recognize that. Because this pawn is defended by the knight, but the knight has to move, so you can just keep this pawn under pressure, and when the knight moves, you can grab the pawn. A little shuffle there, pretty cute. Okay, on with the game. This is also good for me, or not good for me. This is good for white, but just 1 point. And then it was putting the bishop back on b3 was the blunder. You need to play f4 here. And then it's just going back and forth between black and white as we push these pawns around and don't play the most accurate moves. Then was there anything else I wanted to see here? Oh yeah, his biggest advantage is coming up. Let's get to the point where he had the biggest advantage. So that rook move was a mistake. At this point I should be playing a3, just pushing here. I didn't want to play a3 because he would play b3 and then I'd have to move this knight. Maybe this check here is good. Oh, I put the knight here. That's always annoying. And then he has to choose. He decides to give up the exchange, but if he saves the rook... Oh, the rook has nowhere to go. So this just wins the exchange. The rook has no moves. That's pretty cute. Okay, so that's what I should have done to press my advantage here. Instead, I played a rook move, and then I moved my bishop here, and now this is his big chance, so he took. Yeah, I was wondering about this. If he takes here... Oh, he takes with check. I didn't see that. I was planning to take here. But I can't. I have to take the bishop, and then he can take here and win a pawn. So that was his advantage in the game, his chance to win. And after he just took, then it is my advantage again, and I kept the advantage. Let's look at the graph again. Yeah, I kept the advantage the rest of the way. Interesting. Yeah, so why did he give up the exchange? Was this a case where... No, the advantage increases. I mean, I have an advantage here, but after he takes a knight, my advantage is even greater, and he should just grab a pawn here and let me grab a pawn. Just make it a trade. How about if he pushes the pawn right away? What's the problem? Problem is I'll take a knight. Okay, I'll take a rook with my knight. So I was winning this dangerous pawn. That was good, and that's why I keep an advantage. And rather than give up that pawn, he gave up the exchange. And so then I'm winning by even more. And at this point, Of course, king c3 was a mistake. What should he play here? He should play bishop. He should move the bishop or move the king back. And I was planning to bring my rook in here anyway. This looks pretty good. He can try to do something with these pawns, huh? So I put my rook behind him. That's interesting. I was going to, step my king over when I got the chance. It's going to make it difficult for him to push these pawns if my king is here. But it's difficult. I mean, it says a +9 for white, but for black. Let's say he pushes. Do I have, what's my killer move here? Okay, attack the bishop. Step up with my king. Oh, then I just, I win these pawns. So I guess that's all good for me. Well, that was an interesting game. Here, let's see if we can get a rapid game here. E4. Yeah, I think so. Tim's Gate. Oh, 2147. This might be a tough game. If he plays. Okay. E4, knight c6. What is this? The Nimzowich defense? I'll just play d4. I don't know anything specific about this defense, so I'll just put the pawns out there. He could turn this into a kind of knight's tango with the knight out, but he didn't. Okay, he opened this diagonal, so let's put a knight out here. Yeah, I was a little bit worried that he would open the other diagonal and pin me. Let's develop. So he was waiting for that move, I guess. Should I take the pawn or push? Or I could bring my knight out. So if he takes my pawn, I'll take back. I thought that would be pretty good for me. Yeah, so now I need to defend this pawn strongly. It's well defended now, but it's 3 attackers too. 3 attackers, 3 defenders, so it's sufficiently defended, not exactly well defended. But I was thinking queen up, bishop here, knight here would be interesting. Let's prepare to castle kingside, though. And see what my opponent is doing. I actually could castle either way now. Ah, so Mr. Timsgate is pausing to think. So yeah, now I can take this. I think I'll take this opportunity right away, not stopping to castle. Oh. So he was worried about this knight here idea. Let's go ahead and take there. Knight could go here. It is interesting. I think. I mean, this knight is well defended, I guess. Maybe it's not as strong as I thought it might be. But I am hitting this pawn as well and this pawn. So he goes back and defends. Let's castle. I've put it off long enough. Maybe I can get pressure on this pawn. Yeah, so he kicks my knight right away. I came back to this square. My idea is to maximize pressure on e5. And I don't necessarily want to give up that light squared bishop. Putting pressure on e6. e5 and e6 are covered. Ah, okay. He wants me off that diagonal. I might... I don't want to give up my bishop. I'm thinking I might kick this knight, but then it leaves me with a backwards pawn too. Okay. This pawn. Do you want to take this pawn? I could put the bishop here. And he would just move the knight back. I could take, and then he would have doubled pawns. He's thinking about this. Maybe I should have gone back here and defended, gone back to this square with the queen and defended this pawn. It's possible. Yeah, he's stopping my knight from coming here. Let's kick that knight away. Okay, I push the pawn here to make this knight move, and he takes it. Everybody's got problems. Yeah, I put the knight here. I'll start with the rook here, I think. And see what he does. Oh, he can take this pawn now. I'm being very sloppy this game. I mean, he chose not to take the pawn last time, but this time he can take that pawn with a tempo on my queen. He didn't do it. I'm putting the bishop back here to defend my pawns. Now I can push here. Put the knight here, but I want the rook here first. So I'll have pressure on the e-pawn again. Okay, and he's trying to do something on my queen side here. But he pushes, I'm going to push. My threat is bigger than his threat. You know, if he takes this pawn and I take the knight and he takes this pawn hitting my bishop, he's got the queen and the rook behind it. So I actually have to sacrifice the bishop. Even though this is defended. Oh, but he takes that way. Okay. It's all right then. That's what why the rook was here, was to defend this pawn after that exchange. His knight was attacking it. Okay, so he goes back that way. Now I go here. Right? Does he push this pawn maybe? I think I can play this move. Maybe he can defend it. He could defend it with the king. Or he could push the pawn. I take, he takes, I take. I think it's all right. So, Timsgate. What's next? I think it's been an interesting game. I don't understand why he didn't take some pawns over here when he could, but maybe there was a hidden defect. Maybe we can check that out after the game. He did. He brought his king over to defend. So I can push this pawn. He pushes. I can drop a knight in here. It's no good, really. The reason for pushing the pawn would be to get a knight here, but when he pushes this pawn forward, it won't be sufficient. It won't work. Okay, well, I can bring my rook up and chase his queen away. That's maybe an interesting thing to do. Where's his queen going? The queen has one square here. Oh, and then I can fork the queen. Ooh, look at that. Looking at forcing moves, huh? Yeah, check all the forcing moves in your position. Right, pawn to c5 forks the queen and the rook. Oh, he hits my rook. He hits my knight. Okay, I can take this pawn, bishop takes, and I can fork these pieces. Just want to do something with the knight. I could go here. So there's some more forcing move with the knight. Take here. It's not really going to weaken him that much. He can take back with the pawn or the knight, and even if he takes with the pawn, he gets the file here, gets the rook here quicker than me. So I think taking the center pawn is good. I could just retreat and then give him time to straighten out his position. He can't take with the queen. So now the queen has to move. Oh, maybe he moves the knight with an attack on the queen. I take the queen, he takes the queen, I take back. My queen is defended, so his queen is defended, but I'm taking it with a pawn. Well, this is the kind of position only a computer could love. So he just moved the queen there. Wants to put pressure on the center pawn. Pseudo pin my queen. It's not actually pinned. So the rook is not pinned. Rook here threatens to take the bishop, and if the bishop moves, I can take the knight. So rook here, he has to defend the bishop or attack something. And then there was also queen here, hitting the pawn and hitting the knight. But I thought this was even stronger. Yeah, here's an idea. I push this pawn He takes it, and then I take the knight. But actually, he could take with the knight if he defended the bishop. But how would he defend the bishop? Just the queen, right? Queen defends. I take the bishop, and then he takes with the queen, and then I take with the rook. That's actually queen and bishop for 2 rooks is a good deal for me. Maybe I got an advantage here finally. I thought I had one earlier, but he kept finding ways to defeat me. Okay, is there any value in pushing the pawn first? He can take with the queen or the bishop. Then I can take the knight with check, and queen takes. If he took with the queen, I could trade and take the knight with check. If he takes with the bishop, I can take the knight with check. He takes, take the knight with check. He takes. And then take the bishop. So let's look at the queen takes line. Queen takes, bishop takes, I take with check. King goes back here. I mean, it looks pretty good to me. And if the bishop doesn't move, or if he doesn't take the pawn, then I will just take his bishop. If the bishop moves, then I take the knight, I guess. And I got the pawn 1 step further forward. I don't know if that little forcing move was helpful or not. So he just takes it. Maybe because his bishop is looking at my knight after that, but but I'll take here with check, so I'll have time to move my knight. Yeah. Oh, he takes there. So I don't get to take with check. So I guess I just sacrificed that pawn for not much. So what have we got here? I have a piece. So it looks like I could trade everything out here. He's got 5 pawns and I have 4. And I'll have a bishop and a knight versus a knight. He's going to trust to his endgame, huh? I can't take this pawn, it's defended. Need to move my rook. He can't take with the king, so we are going into this endgame. Yeah, he's just trusting that he can win this endgame. Not win, but hold it, I guess. Okay, I try to create some pawn weaknesses, get my king in the center. These are the usual strats. Ooh, he wins a pawn right away. I get his pawn too. Maybe that's what he saw. He saw that clever knight c3 move. Go here. So my pawn is not under fire anymore. And let's see. What have we got? He's going to chase my rook. I mean, chase my knight. He is. Oh no, my knight has no moves. Is that true? Unbelievable. Let's count, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 are all covered. 5, 6, 7, 8 occupied, occupied, covered by his knight, covered by the pawn. Ooh. Wow. This is going to be hard because I put this on a dark square now. I can't defend it except with the king. Check here, check here, check here, check here when I step up. Yeah. You're just going to go here. Maybe I should have put the bishop here. Yeah. But I am discouraged at this point, so probably just not playing good moves. He has to check me now. Otherwise, I'll take this pawn. Well, one careless move is all it takes. But it is discouraging. That's mate. It's not mate. Oh, I could take the pawn. Okay, I can't go here, 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 or here, so I have to block with the bishop, I guess. Okay, if I block with the bishop here, he'll mate me, so step with the king. And he mates me anyway. Let's go to the analysis board and see if I was winning like I thought before I made my mistake. Yeah, it's my turn. So I went here, he went there, and my knight is trapped. So this is losing, right? Or it's even if I play it correctly. So we back up and then we turn this on again. Yeah, +3. I'm just winning. But I have to move my knight. Or move my king. Oh, the knight has. It's like the move I played is the one move that loses. Because the knight has an escape square here, but F3 takes it away. Okay, so I'm winning here. After I play my move, it's a draw. And then at some point it's losing. right here, probably it's losing. Yeah. So if we back up, yeah, even putting, I had the idea of putting my bishop here, so he can't do here, but he's also got this square before he moves the pawn. But yeah, before the king move, like if I put my bishop here, it's still losing. He's just got the advantage there. But there was a potential draw here, it looks like. Here. Oh, wow, I have to move the right move here. And the only move to draw is knight b3. Well, I actually thought about knight b3. I mean, I'm losing the knight, and it was just a question of where's the best way to sacrifice it. So the best way to sacrifice it is here, because it breaks up this pawn duo. So that makes sense. So it was a good game. I thought I played reasonably well until I just got too relaxed after I won the advantage. There was a nice complicated middle game there with lots of tactics. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will see you next time. Bye now.